To set up for the military press, take a grip with your hands just outside your shoulders. Step forward, pushing your elbows under the bar and taking the weight of the bar on your shoulders and in your hands. Make sure the bar is placed at the correct height so that you do not have to tiptoe the weight out of the rack. Once clear of the rack, stand tall with wrists, elbows, and shoulders stacked, supporting the weight. Begin the lift by taking a deep breath and bracing the trunk by contracting the abs and the glutes simultaneously. Push the hands overhead, reaching up and back with the bar until the elbows reach full extension. Reverse this motion to come back to the original front rack position. By squeezing the glutes and the abs together, one is able to keep the rib cage pulled down and maintain alignment of the trunk underneath the weight as it is pressed overhead. This improves stability and efficiency in the lift. Throughout the lift, the gaze should be directed forward at a stable point in front of the lifter. The bar should barely clear the nose, both on the concentric and eccentric phases of the lift. Focus on standing up as tall as possible through the top of the head and maintaining a braced trunk throughout. One of the most common faults that we see in the military press is that of excessive head movement as demonstrated here. The forward head posture is exaggerated near lockout. This can cause increased stress on the shoulders and on the neck, as well as reducing stability through the trunk. This can manifest as a result of impaired scapular control through upward rotation and posterior tilt as the bar moves overhead. It can also be the result of poor abdominal and hip stabilization strategy in the lift. There will be some natural forward head movement as the lifter approaches lockout. You can cue them to stay tall through the top of the head and keep the rib cage packed down in order to avoid exaggerating this movement. The head movement should be just enough to allow the bar to clear the face during the lift so that the lifter can stay stacked underneath the weight throughout the movement. Another common fault that we see is the lifter trying to keep their elbows too close to their sides or having the bar too far out in front of them. This puts the lifter into a very poor starting position because the bar is not stacked over their elbows, shoulders, and wrists evenly, and therefore also not over their hips or over their base of support. Address this by having the lifter keep the elbows directly underneath the bar from that starting position. Key points on the military press. Start with the shoulders and elbows stacked underneath the bar. Keep the elbows underneath the bar throughout the entire lift. Stand tall through the top of the head. Keep the rib cage down and do not allow it to flare out. Squeeze your glutes and quads in order to improve support underneath a braced trunk. Push the weight up and back in order to allow the scapulas to posteriorly tilt towards lockout. Stay tall through the top of the head and maintain a neutral head posture, not exaggerating any forward head movement during the lift.